It's one of the few things I always joke with Condi about. I said, you know, you had all the joy of owning him as a racehorse, but I always have a little bit more joy because I raised him. And then to be a stud colt, that just, you know, there's more joy in having a stud colt than owning a gelding, more joy than owning a stud colt than owning a filly, especially when you're in the stallion business. That's another little added bonus, you know. And so to have a stud colt win the first Futurity of the year, and you know, the main thing in our business, you know, the first thing you worry about is, well, how did he come back? Comes back perfect. I mean, he doesn't have a sore spot on him. Okay, great. So we got a fresh, sound horse for Ruidoso.
The first time I got on him I was up there for ride school and races for the Ruidoso trials, and they'd brought him back in from Houston, and I knew the colt could run. He'd set a track record in his very first start, which there's been some good horses run down Sam Houston's racetrack, so you knew he had to be something special. But the moment you got on him and got out there on the racetrack with him, you knew that this colt was for real. You know what? He's a big, strong colt. He's not very tall at that time as a 2-year-old, but he was just something special. He was really the colt. He moved right. He was big, strong colt. He had a good way of moving about him, and he was very, very smart. He was just an intelligent colt. That early in the year, a lot of them colts are still trying to figure out the name of the game out there and kind of what to do with themselves, and this colt, you could tell he already had it.
Running. Kiss My Hocks came away beautifully at the rail, has the lead, leads it by about 2 lengths already. The battle for second, smooth moves to the outside is Presley the first, and we have bunching going on to the middle, but Kiss My Hocks, the Sam Houston Futurity winner, is gone.
Any of the horses, in my opinion, that have won before they get to the Ruidoso trials, they have a distinct advantage, just experience alone. Anything that wins the West Texas, anything that wins the Oklahoma, anything that wins the Sam Houston, if they go and they're sound, you do have an advantage. And you know, we took advantage of that, you know, and I mean, he left there and did what he's supposed to do in the trials. And you know, then of course you hear a bunch of rhetoric, which I've always laughed being in Texas my whole life. Well, he won at Sam Houston, but how can he do in Ruidoso? He's going to come run against the big boys now, which that is true. That is where the big boys are at. But, you know, people forget there's been a ton of fast horses come from here. I remember when they used to come from Maynard Downs, I mean, that have went to Ruidoso and done lots of things. So I didn't have any worry about that. I mean, that Sam Houston Futurity's pretty tough every year. So
I knew the colt would be pretty sharp in the Ruidoso just off his experience. But little did I know that how much horse I was sitting underneath. That was sitting underneath me at that time. He ran tremendous race in the trials.
Running, stumbling at the start, JM Famous Master, bumping at the start, Mad Max and Penthouse Suite, and Kiss My Hocks came away fast. Kiss My Hocks in front of Bodacious Eagle, followed up the outside by JM Miracle coming on. Kiss My Hocks making it look easy. JM Miracle charging. Kiss My Hocks, an easy winner. Kiss My Hocks, another Futurity win.
You know what? In the Ruidoso Futurity, he got away so good, and he had him dominated so much so early. I was able to really kind of grab a hold of him and kind of put him away for in the last 50, 75 yards of that race. But he kept dragging me right on through there. There were some really good horses that turned out to be really good horses that were in there with him that day, and he kind of put a statement out there that day.
And then it seemed like to me after the Ruidoso trial, that's when, and it happens with every great horse, you kind of part ways with the fan club and the people that want to see him get beat. And that's, to me, with every great horse. You got people that are pushing for him because they want to see a great horse, and then you got people that want to see him get beat. And that happens with everyone we see. But it was funny to me, it was kind of after he won the Ruidoso trial and had the fastest time. I mean, the horse had a ton of fans, but he also had people that you could feel, well, he can't come back in the finals. Now these other 9 that it was their first out, they're going to run sharper in the finals. Well, he comes back in the finals and, you know, wins easy.
You know, I wasn't even thinking about the money. I was thinking about the horse, because we just won the Heritage, a week before that, and he'd win the Sam Houston, you know, a little while before that. But everything's, and you even did an interview with me one time, and you said when everything's on a roll like that, and we all know what goes up comes down, and you just got to keep it rolling, and it's hard to keep it going. But with them kind of horses, it makes it sure a lot easier.
Running.
The trials, he run a real beautiful race. Had the middle part of the racetrack, got away, just went out there, did his thing. all I had to do was just kind of keep his attention down through there, and we were riding a real big high coming off the Ruidoso Futurity with him. At that point, we really confident in the horse.
Out a little at the end. Kiss My Hocks wins easy, then just Kid Rock.
There's a little bit of a different adage now when you get to Ruidoso that, you know, if you can win the first one, that it's because of the elements, because of the number of the trials, and because of everything that, you know, a lot of people skip the Rainbow, and a lot, you know, they skip them with sound horses. But you know, our deal was he was 4 for 4. He was dead sound. We hadn't hardly done any vet work to the horse. He was healthy, and yeah, why not? We might never get another one like him. Why wouldn't we try to? I mean, that's everybody's dream, is to be special effort. So, yeah, I mean, it really wasn't a question for us.
They're running in the Rainbow Futurity. Kiss My Hocks got bumped at the start, losing his path was Wild Six's Cartel. Up along the inside, Trendy came away well. In between runners, Boy George is trying to come on with Bodacious Eagle, and then it's Eagle on the flying. Kiss My Hocks on the far side trying to get going. Kiss My Hocks, but Trendy's in front. Trendy, Kiss My Hocks, and in the right between runners also Bodacious Eagle and Boy George.
You know what? The Rainbow Futurity is probably the best race that horse ever ran for me. He was in the outside in the 10 hole, and he stumbled real bad away from the gates, and which caused him to duck in and tangle up with the 9 horse. And when I got him back up on his feet and running, that mare had him beat Daylight, and most horses should have run 5th, and for him to gather himself up there and come run down there and get 2 jumps from winning the whole thing, it was actually the most impressive race the horse ever ran for me.
I really thought we were going to win the Rainbow Futurity just going away. I really didn't even think it'd be a race, to be perfectly honest with you. And that's probably the one time in that horse's career I let myself get a little overconfident. I mean, I even honestly felt like we can have bad luck and still win. Well, we had bad luck, and he's in the outside post, and he ran his guts out to, you know, run ahead off of Trendy. But, you know, that just proves to you out there, you better not slip up. And then we run second. I remember going back up to the turf club that day, and it was like the air had been let out of the room. And yeah, are you a little disappointed? Sure, but it's like I told a lot of people that day, I said, guys, we just ran second in the Rainbow Futurity. Most people live their whole life to do that. You know, we won $160,000 or $70,000 today, guys. Pick your head up. It's been a great day.
No, you know what? I mean, I was deflated. I knew I was on the best horse that day, and most people who've seen the race could tell I was on the best horse, but the way he ran that day actually bolstered my confidence in the horse going in the All-American trials.
They're running. Kiss My Hocks, Jesse Cartel came away fast, VGC Broom, and then Separate Dynasty and Bogart. Kiss My Hocks, Bogart between runners. Here comes Separate Dynasty with a good run, but now shifting ground suddenly, and it is Kiss My Hocks battling away with Bogart, and then Separate Dynasty, Kiss My Hocks, comes back. Kiss My Hocks rebounds in flying style, then Bogart.
You know what, when we went out there to ride him in his trial, we knew the wind was wrong. We knew our chances of qualifying were pretty slim to none. The horse ran a tremendous race, beat a couple really nice horses by Daylight, had, I believe it was the 2nd largest winning margin of either day of the All-American trials, and actually, even in unfavorable weather conditions, just missed making the finals, I think by 200ths is all.
It was a late trial, and you know, the wind picked up and he ran into a slight headwind. He wins by a length and a half out of the inside, and you know, like I said, we just didn't run fast enough to qualify. I mean, but do I blame it on the weather? Yeah, I do. I think we'd have run in a more favorable wind, but we didn't, you know, so I don't, you know, can't cry over spilt milk. I mean, it's part of running at Ruidoso. And by that time, you know, the horse had 7 outs, 7 hard outs. And you know, he was ready for a break. You know, when we didn't run him in the Classic, I mean, the funniest, you know, the whole world thought, well, he's crippled, he's done, he's this. No, he had run 7 races. We already thought we had ran a champion campaign for 2-year-olds, and to not screw up his schedule the next year, it was better to give him a break now. If he runs in the Classic and he has any other issues, and you have to operate on him or do something in November, it just puts you behind. And so we just made a simple, simple agreement between me, Condi, and Toby that was it. He's done for the year. Get him ready to run as a 3-year-old. Look at all the money that he got to run at, you know.
Be sure to check out the member stallion page of Kiss My Hocks on stallionesearch.com, and you can also find all the chapters of the Kiss My Hocks series on Facebook, YouTube, and Stallion Esearch.